welcome to a brand new holly jolly episode of Sequel Rice, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And they're all about Santa Claus? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson.
And we are here with the last and final, hopefully, maybe, episode about the Santa Claus.
for now.
Yeah. We are going to be talking about Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, starring Tim Allen and Martin Short.
Yep.
Why don't we cut right to the chase, because it's getting kind of chilly in here, and watch that trailer.
The first clause.
Killed him.
Did not.
Change the face of the holidays.
It's the Santa Claus.
The second clause proposed a challenge.
I've got to get married?
Yes, it's Mrs. Claus.
I don't think there's a woman out there that doesn't want a piece of this.
This time, Christmas is getting Jack.
Jack Frost, you are hereby charged with attempting to upstage Santa Claus in a manner that is both willful and malicious.
Excuse me. Did you just accuse me of being skillful and delicious? I'm tired of playing second fiddle. I'm going to be Santa Claus.
Jack, you gotta let this go.
You get TV specials and the postage stamps and the army of toy-building yes-men. What do I get? A few runny noses and some dead citrus.
This holiday season, the most powerful clause of all
The escape clause.
The escape clause.
The escape clause.
will be triggered.
And we're back. Trailer watched? Let's talk about this movie.
It's horrifying.
Oh, man.
Why you didn't like it? Wait, okay, before we get too far, have either of you guys seen this before?
I don't believe that
I'm pretty
that
sure
I
I've
did.
seen it, but I just didn't remember it.
If you hadn't seen, Tyler, if you hadn't seen the second one, and then you saw this one, something's wrong with you.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I'm going to assume you hadn't seen it.
I did not see it. I'll just up front, this movie, just awards-wise, this movie has two people that are in the same Best Picture nominated movie, which is hilarious. But also, this movie is nominated for several awards. Mm-hmm. Golden Raspberries for Worst Actor, Tim Allen. Worst Supporting Actor,
Martin Short.
Martin Short.
Did not
Worst On-Screen Couple,
Tim Allen and Elizabeth Mitchell?
Yeah, and Elizabeth Mitchell.
I thought maybe it would be Anne Margaret and Alan Arkin.
Worst Prequel or Sequel, and Worst Excuse for Family Entertainment.
Oh, yikes.
Ran the board.
Yikes. Yeah, I had seen this one. It was right in the, it was right while I was working at the movie theater back home.
Uh-huh.
And so I could basically go see everything I ever wanted to see for free. So I went and saw stuff like The Santa Claus 3 or Spy Kids 3D, stuff like that,
Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay.
There's a line, okay?
I was going to say, is that the one with Taylor Lautner?
And I draw the line at Shark Boy.
That's right. I'll see Spy Kids 3D, but I will not see no shark thing. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm kidding. So, yeah, I saw this movie, and I'd say it was about as disappointing then as it is now.
So I really, based on my memories and then, the cover of, the movie poster and everything else, I really assumed that Jack Frost was going to be, the main thing, but he really isn't. He's almost like the B plot, and the main plot is this thing with Juliet's parents. Sorry, Elizabeth Mitchell, who we all will probably continue to call Juliet from Lost.
Holly. Or Carol.
What? Carol.
No, it's not Holly. What the
Carol.
hell is Holly?
Carol.
It's another
Her
dumb...
name is Carol Newman. Did you watch the movie?
Carol, Juliet, Newman.
Yeah, in my mind, it's Juliet and then some dumb holiday name.
What was his name? Calvin. Oh, yeah, okay. So
Scott
her
Calvin.
name is Carol, Juliet, Newman, Calvin.
No, that's too much. That's too much. Yeah, we open on yet another 4 movies in one film.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was more two this time.
And guys, let's keep in mind, as we're shitting all over this film, it's Peter Boyle's last film role.
What?
Oh, shut up! Really?
No.
No way.
There was something else that was released posthumously in like 2008, but
Okay.
like this is like he shot this. He was battling cancer and then passed away, and so this is how the world remembers Peter Boyle.
Do they though?
I don't
No,
They
no.
probably don't even remember
It's
these
very.
movies.
When I read that, I was like, oh, bummer.
I mean, his run in this franchise though is like pretty intense because he's one of the few people, probably the only person we've ever seen that did two characters in the same franchise with
Yes.
no reasoning. Just yeah.
Well, I mean, Tim Allen plays God Calvin and
No.
Santa Claus and Toy Santa.
That doesn't count.
Toy Santa counts.
Yeah. That's 3 characters, okay?
No.
Peter Boyle sucks.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
he
wait, and
wasn't as
also
good in
Peter
this
Boyle
movie.
was in that Species 2 in that uncredited role because it was so horrible he refused to let his name be in the credits.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of Peter Boyle.
A lot of
Should
people-
have done that here,
Rest
too,
in power. Rest in
Yeah.
power, my friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of shit happening in this movie. So this movie starts with a frame story. It starts basically on a
yeah.
classroom, and then Abigail Breslin's like, I have a question, teacher.
They were like, hey, we need to hire a new kid elf that talks.
Yeah.
Who do we know? Spencer Breslin's in this. Do you know anybody? Oh, my sister is an actor
Yeah.
too. Sure,
Absolutely.
That's easy.
Is this before or after Little Miss Sunshine, though?
This is way before.
I think it's
Oh,
before.
really?
Yeah.
She was
2006.
around, though, right? She was doing, like, the American Girl movies and stuff.
I do not
yeah,
know
I
that,
totally watched
but
those.
that is Little Miss Sunshine and Alan Arkin with Abigail Breslin is the
Oh,
two
yeah.
Best Picture nominated actors in this movie.
It's actually the same year, I believe.
Okay. So she was up and
2006.
coming.
Yeah.
She had been in a couple things, I think.
So they were both in this movie, and then in a movie that won Best Picture.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
That won Best Picture?
It did.
Wow.
And you thought that
I don't
the
remember
Santa
that.
Claus 3
I'll have to
was
check the
worthless.
mall next time we go to the Dolby Theater. Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah. So I think that I was happy that Juliet, Mrs. Claus's design was a little bit better than we saw in that epilogue of the second movie. She wasn't quite as fat suit fat and
I didn't think she was wearing a fat suit at all. I thought it was
no,
just like she's
they just give her
pregnant.
like puffy clothes because she's in the cold and she's pregnant.
And you know what, guys? Like, that's what you should tell your girlfriend when you get home tonight. Is like, you know what, honey? It doesn't look like you're wearing a fat suit at all.
You're just pregnant.
It's
I
high.
don't know.
It's high praise.
So she's the teacher of the elf school, just like she wanted, and I think they ask her something like, "Oh, is there a time, or how did you know you wanted to be with Santa?"
Or something like, or it's like, how did it happen? Or like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like out of context. And then like, it's weird because I don't get it because they're children elves, like they're smaller elves, they're just
Yeah.
younger kids.
Fun fact
Yeah.
on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Justin's Blu-ray corner.
There's an alternate opening that we were spared from.
Okay.
Thank the Lord. That is a full-on recap of the series.
No.
Abigail Breslin says something like, well, can't we learn real stuff? Like, how did he become Santa in the first place? And why do you call him Scott if he's Santa? And she, Elizabeth Mitchell, goes on a whole, like, explanation of, like, well, every generation or two, Santa's changed, like, hands with someone else. Like,
Because they murder each
well, they
other.
they show him falling off the roof, but they don't explain. She doesn't explain to the elf kids who are actually like 266 years old in that scene,
Right.
according to this alternate opening.
Right.
That doesn't exist in the film.
Oh, but they suppose they say that
God,
there's a timeline.
266 years and you still have to be in elementary
because,
school.
Yeah.
Because Abigail Breslin's like,
Elves are
why
real
can't we learn
fucking
stuff
dumb.
like this? And Elizabeth Mitchell says, well, I was going to save it to a time when you're older. And she's like, I'm already 266 years old.
Elves are real fucking
Just
dumb.
like
They learn slow.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So luckily we were spared a full-on recap of like, here's how he became Santa, complete with clips from the first film.
Well, we still get clips from the first film
Yeah,
later
like
on in
but
this
Back
movie.
to the Future-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, type
Back to the Santa.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's name the plots that I
Yep.
was following
right.
in this film.
Yep.
We've got a OMG, we're having a baby movie.
Yep.
We've got
You count those as separate?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that could be a whole movie.
That could be a
where
whole
they're
movie.
dealing with having a baby.
I guess, but I would rope that in with her her parents.
No, we're
Okay.
having a baby
Yeah.
movie.
Okay.
We
Three
have
Santas
to
and
meet
a
the
baby.
in-laws movie.
Yeah.
All right.
we have to, we have Jack Frost trying to take over Santa Claus movie.
Yeah.
Then we get a It's a Wonderful Life movie.
movie.
Those are 4 movies in this one film, and they each get about 10 minutes of screen time. You're like, okay, we're at 3 movies.
I would have said, I just thought it was 2. Like Jack Frost and Juliet. Like those are the 2 movies.
But it's so like, they could have expanded each of those things into one full movie. Instead, they're all crammed into this thing.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it's like a making fun of Canadians.
So
film.
yeah,
Oh,
it is
yeah.
very much making fun of
Yeah.
Canadians film. So yeah, basically Juliet's like, or Carol,
Can we just we're just going to call her
think it's
Juliet
confusing.
from now on, okay? Everybody just accept that Elizabeth Mitchell will be
I think, you
named
know what? I almost
Juliet
have her confused.
forever.
An email just came in. We're broadcasting live.
No,
This audience
no.
member said, hey, what's the deal with Juliet?
We just explained it, so deal with it. It's Juliet from now on, okay? Continue.
she misses her family. She's like, I don't know if I can have this baby. Like, I miss, and she's kind of derogatory towards elves. She's like, I miss tall people. and then Santa's like, I know what I can do. I'll bring your parents here. And then there's this really weird scene where he's trying to come up with a plan, and then he's like, I'll do it. And then he's like, you want to know why? And then all the elves in unison go, oh, because what does Santa do? And all the elves go, he delivers. And he's just like, yes, I do.
He says, what do they always say about Santa? What do they always say? And I'm like, and then they say, he delivers. And I'm like, who the fuck says that? Nobody says that.
Like, he really has them trained to do some creepy stuff. Because earlier in this same scene, Juliet is walking and she's like, I'm having this baby, like, I should really have my family around me. And he's like, you do have your family around. We're your family, like, motioning to all the elves. And then all the elves stop what they're doing and in unison go, we love you, Mrs. Claus! Just like, we love you, Miss Hannigan. Like, it sounds exactly like that. And, like, thankfully, her reaction is not great to that.
She's like, no, like, your robots don't appease me.
It was weird. So, like, I wonder how much time was spent rehearsing, like, the things you have to yell out in unison when Santa, says
Here's the thing.
word.
Here's the thing that this we didn't address this in the Mrs. Claus, right? So, but I just want to make sure that we have the legal ramifications down, right? Santa Claus, whoever wears a suit in perpetuity, you're the man. You're the jolly guy, right?
Yep.
You can't remain the jolly guy unless you have a Mrs. Claus.
Right.
Yes.
You lose the privileges of Santa, right?
Apparently.
So, the guy who fell off Scott Calvin's roof had to have a Mrs. Claus,
Ooh,
Yeah.
what happened to her?
right?
I've been seeing lots of people on Twitter asking the same
He's like,
exact
yeah,
question.
had to have a Mrs. Claus. So do we, like, even if she's like, like in this movie, spoiler alert, he gets desantified again because we have to see Tim Allen's fucking gorgeous mug,
And you're
right?
like, oh, he isn't wearing a fat suit.
Dude.
Just kidding.
He wakes up in his old life, basically like 12 years, like as if it never happened. Like him and Charlie aren't close. It's a Wonderful Life type thing that Justin's talking about.
Yeah.
So even if when he kills that Santa, do you think Mrs. Claus just like has like amnesia? Like I never had that life type thing. And she goes back to her old life.
Maybe
Or-
she instantly dies. Or maybe she is not immortal the way that Santa is kind of like immortal and ageless. So maybe she aged and died.
And he
And
has
he had
to
to watch her, like,
he has to get a
slowly
new Mrs. Claus
deteriorate,
every,
yeah.
100 years.
So does that make the baby that they have in this movie some sort of Hercules, half god, half human?
I think so. The way it smiles at the end looks
Yeah.
pretty Herculean. to
By
me.
the way, nobody knows the name of that baby. Trust me, I looked.
It freeze frames on the baby and it's like, I'm alright. Don't nobody worry about me.
He's like the last shot of the movie, and yet completely uncredited.
I rewound it a
Cool.
few times because I was like, did they really catch that smile or is that a CG
It's an American sniper baby.
Because he smirks like, I'm Baby Claus.
I'm Buddy
I'm
Claus.
Baby Claus. And then his freeze frame like,
Baby Buddy Claus. Yeah.
I don't know. Like
Yeah,
a
the movie
sitcom.
does end on a freeze frame.
It's terrible.
What year did Elf come out? Because he's Buddy the Elf, so it seems like really derivative that they would name the baby
Let's
Buddy.
find out. If I Google the word elf, what comes up? 2003. Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
So
so
this is
that's
after
so
that.
dumb that they named it Buddy, because you're automatically, immediately going to think of
Yeah, that is kind
the
of
movie
weird.
Elf with Will Ferrell.
What I was going to say is maybe this old Santa Claus had not gotten a Mrs. Claus yet.
So then how much time passes between the first two movies? Because it was
a lot. Did you see
8
Charlie?
years.
A lot
I did.
of time
So 8
passes.
years. So that
he could've
that
been
Santa was he was a fresh Santa. I guess that's why he falls off the roof.
Yeah, he still could have been a new
Santa.
Santa.
Yeah. Well, I guess you know what? Like, if there's not a special feature of the Hall of Snow Globes that takes you back to all the deaths of all the Santas. So in this movie, hold on. There's in Santa lore there is a Hall of Snow Globes, right?
Yeah.
And it's a snow globe for every Santa that basically encapsulates the moment where they became Santa. So it is like this treasure. It's like a Dexter style library of death of how all these Santas died.
I was hoping that they would have more interesting stuff in them, but it's just like a Christmas tree or a gingerbread man. It's all like
It's like the Hall of Faces. Or
yeah,
whatever
it's all
from
just
Game
like
of Thrones.
Christmas memorabilia in a snow globe.
Which I always wanted it to be. I don't know if you remember this, but at Blockbuster in 1996 when Fargo came out, like they had like a Fargo snow globe that had like the dead body or like the wood chipper. Like that's all I was thinking about in the Hall of.
By the way, what if you kill Santa like in the middle of the year?
Well, then you'd have to be at the North Pole, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't think you can die at the North Pole. I think.
What?
No, but like you know how Scott Calvin would like come visit Charlie and stuff and hang out with Lucy and his ex-wife.
Yeah,
and
that's true,
Neil,
but-
like what if you shot him then? What would happen?
What if
guess-
Emilio Estevez's drunk dad character from The Mighty Ducks got a DUI and killed Santa Claus
I
and
don't
then
know.
became. Then they
Okay,
play
look, if you kill Santa Claus, you don't become Santa Claus. You have to put the suit on.
Right.
So you could kill him, and there could just be like, I didn't see any suit.
And then what happens?
No Santa.
No
Christmas
Santa.
ruined for
There's
everyone.
just no more Christmas.
Yeah, and we also
Unless the
introduced
suit
this thing
flies
where
or something.
we've got, like,
It's a Green Lantern type situation where the suit flies and finds someone who's worthy.
It goes off to the next Santa Claus, yeah.
It's fine. It cuts to like a cocktail party where someone's laughing too hard at a joke. It's like this fucker's jolly. Like
Yeah,
it's
well,
you.
By the way, you know, the original Santa, not original, but the one that Tim Allen killed, right? We have to see this poor bastard die 2 more times in this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
because
yeah,
of all
yeah.
the time travel and It's a Wonderful Life stuff, this poor guy has to get killed at least 2 more times.
I love that when they first go back in time, as soon as they're there, the very first thing is Martin Short goes, "Hey, Santa!" And he's like, and falls to his
Because that's
death.
how you kill him.
Yeah.
I think things that are surprising about this movie is like I didn't think Elizabeth Mitchell would be back. I didn't think that the Council of Legendary Figures, is that what they're called?
I
much-
didn't expect them to all
Pretty
come.
much everyone but Bernard is back.
Yeah, everyone. Bernard. He was
He's the next casualty.
he was busy doing Superbad and all
we
of that.
assume that he died? Or what?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. How does the elf progression
Because
work?
Curtis is now elf number 1.
Number 1 elf, yeah.
Or
So
whatever
did
it's called.
Bernard die? Did Curtis kill him? Like,
Yeah, we know nothing about... I assume the elves have a death.
like he's been put out to pasture?
They live for so many years and then they die.
It's like
Yeah.
an elf retirement community?
Yeah.
I guess.
They severed his head and shot it into space.
Maybe as soon as they start looking not like children, you're like, oh, he's about to die.
He's about to die.
Like they always look
Got
like
that little
children.
peach fuzz
Yeah,
going,
and then when they
get him
grow
out
up,
there.
they grow up real fast and die.
it's like not Raiders of the Lost Ark. Last Crusade, where he just ages all at once.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Bernard
All right,
chose
so,
poorly.
Yeah, we've talked about how the plan is to bring Juliet's parents to the North Pole and convince them that it's actually Canada, which is full of short people, and that he's a toy factory owner.
I did think that it was kind of like they could have just. I mean, I didn't think it was fair that Scott Calvin gets to have his family, and they all know he's Santa, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, where
But
are
then
his
when-
parents?
Yeah, but then, well, apparently he doesn't have them or they're dead or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, like, when she becomes Mrs. Claus, she just has to stay there and is not able to tell her family.
Yeah.
So since the last movie, she just was like, I don't exist anymore, bye.
Well, I guess they told her that she married a Canadian toy
it's
maker.
just weird, like, if his family already knows, why can't her family
Right.
know? Or that shouldn't be a rule.
I mean,
SOS.
why didn't
SOS
Charlie
is
just
the secret of Santa,
secret-
and they
secret
can't allow it to become widespread, or else.
Or else Christmas ends
Yeah, we
forever.
don't know. Or else
They made it sound as soon as the North Pole is discovered, then Christmas is done.
right?
Okay.
Which we found out in the beginning of that second movie when they treated it like it was a submarine and they had to go to ElfCon 4.
I guess.
No, it was. That's not what happened. Okay, so yeah, in-laws are coming. Legendary figures are there.
So we get a new legendary figure who is Jack Frost.
Jack
But
Frost.
he's pissed that he doesn't have a holiday. But also, like, a bunch of those guys don't have a holiday, so I don't know what he's so pissed about. Like,
yeah, I guess Mother Nature doesn't have a holiday.
yeah,
Earth Day.
the Tooth Fairy doesn't
Earth
have
Day.
a holiday.
Yeah.
The Sandman doesn't have a holiday.
yeah,
Father
Sandman.
Time.
Yeah, that's
the only
true.
one who has a holiday is the Easter Bunny and I guess Cupid.
Cupid has Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so what's
true.
the big damn deal?
I don't know.
Jack Frost is greedy. He just wants Christmas. And
Yeah.
so his original plan
just
is
the
he
opener.
made some cardboard cutouts. And then put them in malls, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? It's just his face and being like Jack Frost, and they want to put sanctions on him. They're treating it
They're
like
trying
it's
to
like a UN.
suspend
They're
him
trying to
from the
suspend him from but he's never been on the council.
He's gotta
so it's
vacate
like,
all
he
his
is on the
wins.
council.
I want some episode 1 type trade negotiations to figure out what's going on with the Council of Legendary Figures.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about this, and I haven't seen them before. What other members are there?
They have their own movie. It's called Rise of the Guardians.
Guardians of Gahul?
No. I never saw that movie.
Me neither.
Which one?
Rise of the Guardians.
Because we both saw Gahul.
Oh yeah, I have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
I did not see that.
It's about owls, all right? Why would I watch it?
Apparently it's really popular in Europe.
It is. It is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Because when I, like, flew to Europe recently, it was one of the free movies available as a classic on the flight.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. We get a fun callback to the last movie where, Santa Claus calls him the Molinator.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
But
that's
everyone else
cute.
is just like, hey, Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was kind of
Oh,
fun.
so in the Council of Legendary Figures meeting, someone lets it slip that there's such a thing as the escape clause, that Santa can somehow magically not be Santa. And then Jack Frost spends a lot of time, like, needling people and trying to find out more about it because he is interested in taking over Christmas.
Yeah, he totally tricks Curtis into just telling him because
Curtis is bad at his job.
Curtis is not very bright.
Curtis, so he does the whole thing is like, you don't really know about it. And he's like, oh, I do. And he just tries to prove him
and
that
then he
he's-
says that this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Hey, I bet you don't know the PIN number for your bank account, Tyler. Why don't
Yeah,
you prove
yeah.
it?
Yeah, tell it to me so I know that you know it.
Yeah, because obviously you don't know anything.
1. 1.
3, 1, 1, 3.
Yeah, so Curtis sucks at his job.
This is why they never should have killed Bernard.
Yeah.
I know.
They never should have eaten his bones for sustenance.
Yeah.
Oh, also there's like a really weird political timeliness joke where Curtis says something like, ever since the Elfland Security Act, we're not able to something,
my
something,
God.
something. And I was like, oh, God.
I
Shut
was
up.
sick of all the,
Shut up,
like,
Curtis.
There's like all these weird elf puns. Like there's, firefighter elves. And then at the end, they're like bringing these like police elves are bringing in, Jack Frost in like handcuffs. And Santa's like, I'll take it from here, elficers. And I was like, why? Stop it. There's also, on top of that, there's also lots of like, wow, it's cold in here puns. Like,
Yeah, because Jack Frost and
exactly.
freezing.
Someone
and-
says, chill
yeah.
out. You need to just chill out. And he goes, you chill out. Which I
Yeah.
happen to remember from the trailers. These trailers are like real bad.
They're really bad.
Turns out that Juliet's parents are Alan Arkin and Anne Margaret.
Yeah, which is awesome. I
Yep.
had seen this movie and totally forgot Alan Arkin was in it.
Alan Arkin's one of the best parts of this
I was
movie.
like, what are you doing?
But also, Alan Arkin doesn't seem like he's in this movie.
Yeah, there's a few scenes, especially towards the end, when he's like learning that he's Santa Claus, that it seems like he's like a few seconds away from laughing because the dialogue is so ridiculous, and that he's just saying it like, "Wait, so you're Santa, and that means this is."
I'm the father-in-law of Santa. I'm father-in-law Christmas.
Yeah, and like the look on his face is just like you can see he's like looking like side eye at Anne Margaret. Like,
I definitely
like,
recorded it. I definitely
Are we
recorded
really
it.
doing this right now? Like what?
So Anne Margaret has a long storied history with Disney because she was actually in Newsies and she sang the Razzie Award-winning song "My Lovey-Dovey Baby," which is Alan Menken's only Razzie.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh man, but he is like, he's just like being the straight man for everything.
Yeah.
this entire film, pretty much, and it's pretty great.
Yeah,
'cause-
he's funny.
Because they keep telling him they're all Canadians, but they're elves.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's like, yeah, but they're so... Someone's like, oh yeah, they're just short. And he's like, no, he says they're petite. And he's like, no, Tom Cruise is petite, but these guys are just short. And then,
Somebody should just call them out and be like, you're being a racist piece of shit. Okay?
Santa's like, or, someone's like, yeah, no, that's just what Canadians look like. And then there's this, 10-second scene of the reaction of, the reaction of Alan Arkin and Margaret, and they're just looking at each other like, sure, guy.
And then,
but they don't say anything.
and then someone comes up and is like, eh?
Yeah, every time they feel like they're about
Sorry.
to give it up, they'll just say at
Yeah.
the end of their sentences.
Let's go to the Canadian Bacon Exchange.
But also, Tim Allen to them is supposed to be Canadian as well. So why is he so much taller than all the other Canadian
right.
people?
I don't know.
I mean, when we meet Alan Arkin, he's sanding a door, he's a construction guy, and he's like, come feel this door, it feels like a butt. And then, he's saying smooth as a baby's butt, and then Santa comes up and, they're both, touching this piece of wood, and then he's like, it does feel like a butt. And then it cuts away.
I know. It's so freaking weird, you guys. So weird.
So also, while in the United States, we check in with Charlie and Lucy and what's-her-face and Neil.
Wendy? No, Wendy's the
Her name is...
It's Laura.
Laura and Neil.
Wendy's
We
the
check in
actress's
with them. Charlie, I guess they only wanted to pay him to be in a couple scenes, so he's like, "Oh, I'm going snowboarding for Christmas with my friend. Bye.
Thanks for letting me go snowboarding with Danielle."
And so now it's going to be had to be all about Lucy because she's
just
still
no
a
problem,
cute little
bro.
kid and not an awkward teenager on the precipice of adulthood.
Yeah.
You had to play some Radio Mason shows, man.
Yeah, that's true. So Lucy, we
that show at the
established that
Lovitz.
she gives the warmest hugs, just like Olaf and John Lasseter.
Fun fact. This movie, Santa Claus 3, there was a Game Boy Advance video game for it, and the studio that made that also made Olaf's Quest. This was the first video game that they made, and they continued on to do a lot of other licensed stuff, but they made the Olaf and Frozen video game as well.
The video game looks so dumb.
The video game looks
What is
terrible.
what is the gameplay?
You have to,
It looks kind of like Metroid, and you're jumping around, and it's just stage
Who
you have
are
to
you,
clear.
Santa?
You're Santa.
Oh, okay.
And your attack is you open up a Jack in the Box, and it's like, "Meh." And then you have to collect milk and cookies as you're jumping around, and there's icicles and spikes and random snowballs being thrown at you, but you don't know what's happening.
and you can glide by using your suit
yeah.
as a parachute for a few seconds.
It looks
So it's a
terrible.
side scroller.
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
like a platformer,
Yeah.
old school
Yeah.
Metroid game.
Unimportant.
Yeah, it's
but
just really
speaking of
bad.
Olaf,
Are there playthroughs online?
Oh, yeah.
I watched 20
There
I
was
watched
a
20 minutes
There
of
was a
gameplay today.
50-minute walkthrough of it.
Oh my gosh.
You can post it in the
It
show
looks
notes.
really
We'll
bad.
post the link, yes.
What I was gonna say is, so they Neil and Laura and Lucy convince Santa to take them along with.
Yeah, basically they're just jerks and they want to see the North Pole, and so
Yeah.
they start saying well, she wants to see it, you let Charlie see it, so you gotta let her see it, even though she's not at all related to you, and if she's gonna go, then we have to go, because we're her legal guardians, and...
Yeah, we can't just have
yeah.
our daughter going off to strange new lands without us.
Yeah.
We get this really horrific scene. It's straight out of a nightmare, where they're in the North Pole, and I don't know, someone's having a fucking dumb conversation, and all of a sudden they're like, "Look, Santa's back!" And you see him flying in on a CG sleigh, and all of a sudden
Santa's got a hot
the
round.
music's like, "Santa's got a hot round," and you're like, oh, look, he's there with the sleeping parents. And then there's this weird camera turn to reveal Neil and Laura in the back, and they're like, what? Putting their hands up like they're on a fucking roller coaster. And they're just like, yeah. And I was like, that looks so bad.
It's terrible.
Dumb. And it's a Brian Says to Orchestra song.
Yeah.
He sucks.
It's real bad. One thing we didn't mention is that to get the in-laws, Santa enlisted the help of Michael Dorn, the Sandman, and to put them to sleep. And that's the Michael Dorn has some fun. I enjoyed watching Michael Dorn in that scene. That's it. That's it. That's all I have to say about the entire movie.
You know what? I liked Michael Dorn in that scene.
and that's about it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so Jack Frost is slowly just fucking with everything and, like pulling a bolt out that causes something to explode and
He's
freezing a tube that causes another thing to explode.
Yeah, he finds out that the thing that what Curtis gives up was what the escape clause is that Santa has to hold the snow globe that encapsulates his moment where he became Santa, and then wish that he'd never been Santa at all, and then everything will go back as if it never happened.
But he has to specifically say word for word, I wish I had never become Santa at all.
Right. And so now it appears that Martin Short's plan is to fuck shit up at the workshop so much that Santa just gets depressed and decides that he doesn't want to be Santa anymore.
Well, because it creates all this tension with his wife and the in-laws and the new baby.
That's his plan.
His movies.
His plan is to depress Tim Allen.
Martin Short would be like one of those teenagers that gets like prosecuted for convincing their friend to commit suicide.
No, that's legitimately his plan.
Yeah.
And you know what, Martin? All you had to do, put in this DVD. I wish I never watched the Santa Claus at all.
He is hamming it up like insane.
It's so ridiculous.
He's like Liberace Frost.
and Eliz, you said specifically you don't like him.
I'm not a Martin Short fan.
I enjoy Martin Short.
But not,
fuck him in this movie.
Not like this, Martin. Not like this.
I think it really just stems from the fact that I once had a really traumatic experience at the Canada movie in Epcot, and Martin Short is like the host of it. Another Canada connection.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We learn through all of Jack Frost's actions that the elves are really fucking wild about Cocoa, huh?
Yeah.
They'll just fuck off from whatever they're doing. Go get some cocoa.
That's how he's getting them to look the other way, and he's like, "Have this delicious." It's like 3 different types of cocoa beans.
A whisper of vanilla. He's like trying to seduce them with the description, like it's piping hot.
He has a scene with Anne Margaret here.
Yes, we have to talk about this. It must be in her contract that she gets to sing for like at least 2 seconds. Because they end up harmonizing. Oh, I don't even remember what song
it's
it
the
was.
Christmas song.
Because he wants to hear her sing Jack Frost nipping at your nose
over and over
and over, and like he's getting off on it. Like Martin Short's about to come in this scene.
Yeah, he is. He's like, say it again. He's like, do it again.
Well, that's gotta be like his favorite song because it's like the only song that mentions Jack Frost.
Yeah, and then she does it like increasingly more like ornamental every time she sings it, and then he's like, "I'm gonna jizz."
Yeah, and then the scene ends with him being like, "Do you want to be my elf?"
Yeah, he keeps asking everybody that.
Yeah,
and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "You heard me."
I took like a joke, but that's what he really says.
I took a video of it. We can post it because it's fucking terrifying. Like Martin Short is fucking terrifying.
It was weird. Like it kept asking people. I thought that was some weird creepy. That was like
it's
the most
real creepy. Yeah,
of it, that he did. Like,
he asked Lucy if he wants. He asked Lucy. Like it's real.
Yeah. I do want to say that Neil's wardrobe really upped the ante this time. He graduated from Cosby sweaters to like I don't know, like button-up long-sleeve shirts made out of like hardcore Christmas pattern fabric. And he had several of them.
Well, he was wearing the sweater. I mean, props to the Santa Claus. I will say you made it 3 movies and you had solid sweater jokes in every single one for Neil.
Yeah.
And Tim Allen makes fun of him again, and he's like, nice sweater, and he's like, oh, it's reversible, and he lifts up his Cosby sweater, and it's like this Christmas print thing.
Yeah,
and like and Judge Reinhold knows exactly what fucking movie he's in and is acting accordingly. He seems like he might be the only person having fun on this set.
He might be like one of the VIPs of this entire franchise.
Yes, no, absolutely, because he has the turn at the end. Like he's an asshole the entire first movie, and then at the end when he like Santa just glamours them, and he's like, it really is Santa. He never changes.
He becomes like a giddy child for the rest of his
life.
For
the rest of his life, he's just like,
despite the fact that he's got a wife and young child.
He's teaching yoga to the elves. He's doing feeling inventories.
Oh yeah, when did he become so focused on Eastern medicine too? Like the first movie, he was all about kind of like the psychotherapy analysis type thing.
I think he's just a yuppie. Is the point?
Yeah, he's now learned a lot of Eastern meditation techniques. And the mom is like not a character, but she's there. We don't know anything about her.
Yeah,
ever.
Oh god. So let's just cut to The chase.
The end.
No. Yeah. So Santa takes Lucy to the snow globe place. They leave, and Jack Frost gets in there and grabs the snow globe.
Yep. And then,
But Lucy sees it happening and calls her parents over, and they get frozen by Jack Frost.
Right, because they could only afford to have Wendy and Judge in there for a day or two, so they had to get them frozen, so they're not in the rest of the movie.
It looks so funny when they get frozen, and actually getting unfrozen looks even funnier.
Yeah, only an act of true love can unfreeze them.
But then Lucy gets to spend like half of the movie in a closet with her frozen parents, and he doesn't freeze her. Right?
No, yeah, he
just
like,
says, "Get in that closet."
And it's like a horrible example for children, because you always tell children, like, if anything's wrong, if anything weird happens, you have to tell me, no matter what the person says that they're going to hurt your parents.
Yeah.
You know, like, she tried to tell her parents that this bad man was doing bad things, and he actually froze her parents.
He's like, I told you not to do that.
Yeah.
And then he closes the door and says, "And to think I asked you to be my elf."
Yeah.
Whoa.
Creepy Town, USA. Yeah. So he basically then tricks Santa into wishing that he never had been Santa. Because what Santa says, and sums up this movie, all the joy of this holiday classic: my in-laws hate me, Christmas is a disaster, and my pregnant wife wishes she never met me.
Sounds like a normal holiday.
Is a thing that Santa says. Yeah, true.
I did like, the only thing that I liked about all of that stuff is when he was like, I don't know what to do because I'm about to become a father again, and I wasn't really that good at it the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, whoa, that's actually like self-aware character recognition, but the rest of it was crap.
Yeah.
That one line, I was like, yes. And the rest, no.
So upon making the wish,
they get sucked back
in time.
Became Santa.
And so we get this weird intercut where they're wrestling in the snow, Martin Short in his weird creepy ass makeup, and Tim Allen in his fat suit, and then it's cutting between them on like some fake snow and to the old footage of the original movie.
And young Charlie is back.
And young Charlie comes back, and
you killed him. Wow. Good one, Dad. That's pretty much what he says.
And then, and so Martin Short just immediately yells up to Santa.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Santa!
Kills him. And then he becomes Santa, puts on the suit, and then cut to Scott Calvin in his high-rise apartment.
He's working on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh no, who works on Christmas Eve? Only evil corporate people.
Yeah, and then we get about 15 minutes of the movie directed by Frank Capra.
Hello, movie house.
Yeah.
He goes around like trying to find Laura, and it turns out that she's divorced from Neil, and Neil and Lucy are at the North Pole Resort.
Yeah, because Jack Frost has turned the North Pole into a crass commercial endeavor.
Yeah.
He's forgotten the spirit of the holidays, guys.
We get some of the worst scenes of the entire film right here.
Wow. I mean...
He gets to the North Pole and is playing this weird, like, carnival-y Russian-type song called Come Meet Santa, which is sung by Martin Short, according to the soundtrack.
It is...
Is that what he sings in the little show?
No. This is like
he has
when
like
he's just walking around and
I have a little bit of it. You might be able to hear it.
Welcome all you girls and boys, come on in and build a toy. Mom and Dad shall have some fun. My resort for everyone. There's lots of elves to help you buy. Santa t-shirts, Santa ties, lots of rides, so much to do. And comets in the petting zoo. But what's the best of all? What's the best of all? You'll meet Santa. Come meet Santa.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, and like while you walk around the resort, every couple seconds there'll be like a recording being like, buy more popcorn! It's me, Santa! You know, like just like his voice.
I wrote down some pretty hilarious ones.
Okay.
There's one that's like, kids, remember, how much your parents love you depends on how much money they spend on your presents. And then there's one that says, shave a reindeer for $5.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that was like, tickets on sale now for the 6 o'clock elf toss. Just like playing randomly.
And there's like this spinning Michael Bay camera sequence where Tim Allen's walking through and he just can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then so it's cutting to like all these people like being kind of like having Black Friday like awful like rage behaviors.
Cut in actual audio from the Disney parks, where all the kids are like,
no. My favorite one is a kid going like, "Dad, I don't even want to be here anymore," and he's like, "Well, that's too bad."
See, I heard that just this weekend at the parks.
No, you didn't.
It's not far off.
If you were at Six Flags, maybe, but never at Disneyland. How dare you?
So then Tim Allen has a plan. He finds Lucy there.
They don't barely know who he is.
Yeah.
And Neil's like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Because they're divorced, and Neil blames him for ruining their marriage.
Yeah, that was kind of that was another real life moment.
And also Judge Reinhold acting.
Where he was like, "You just wouldn't let me be his dad," and it kind of fucked things up for us.
Yeah.
Well, and he said that Charlie didn't want Neil to be his dad, which makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So there is well, I guess we should mention that the whole pen thing, right? Like,
the pen.
He uses a recording pen and like tricks Jack Frost into saying it, but he's not holding the snow globe, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a classic Home Alone 2. I have a recorder to record a line.
Yeah. I think I fell asleep at a certain part because when he brings up when he brings a pen back at the end, I'm like, when did he record?
No,
he goes up to Jack Frost, and Jack Frost's like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you to show up." Like,
yeah.
It's so funny that I tricked you into saying that, "Oh, I wish I had never become Santa at all." That's hilarious. Yeah. And Tim Allen like records it on the.
Of course,
pen.
he would say that.
It's like Zootopia, like totally copies this.
It's true.
P.S.
It's true.
So it turns out that the whole North Pole experience culminates in a like Wizard of Oz type show where everyone comes.
A Broadway show where Martin Short hams it the fuck up.
And I was like, wait, he does this show every day?
There's a bunch of unenthused female elves tap dancing like around him, and it is so funny because they told these girls like, "Okay, you got to do this tap routine, but you got to look as pissed off as possible."
So there's something really disheartening about watching a full musical number with a bunch of sad children while a middle-aged man divas it up.
So he's singing the song "New York, New York."
North Pole, North Pole.
North Pole, North Pole. And the thing I thought was really funny is, like, you see the entire performance, but, like, he starts at the beginning of the song, he's at the top of the staircase, and he slowly walks down, like, "I'm spreading the news," as he walks down. And then at the end of the song, he's at the top of he's coming down the staircase again at the end of the song. I'm like, when did he go back up there? Like, when we were looking at the audience for 2 seconds, he ran up to the top of the stairs again? I don't know. It was just dumb.
Stairs, classic Broadway right there.
Yeah. Terrible.
It's really bad. And so you think that, like, Tim Allen's going to have, some knowledge of the North Pole and, like, he's going to have some tricks. He's just loud and he's just Tim Allen. Like, he's like, I'll cause a distraction.
He comes swinging in on a fucking, like, rope out of nowhere. One of Charlie's leftover repelling ropes. He's like, "I learned this in Jungle to Jungle." Yeah!
Jungle to Jungle. Oh my god.
Hey, that's why Martin Short is in this movie, because he was in Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen.
Oh no.
Right before this.
So Santa convinced Lucy to, even though she doesn't know who the hell he is, she convinced her to run into the snow globe room and get the snow globe.
Right.
And so then Jack Frost holds it, and he plays the pen recording, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because...
And then we see original Santa die yet again.
Yeah.
Because everything else has changed in everyone else's lives, but Lucy still loves snow globes for some fucking reason. That's the one constant.
Time travel...
Snow globes are her Desmond.
Oh, God.
Time travel thing, when Jack Frost and Santa go back yet again this time, shouldn't they have seen their former selves going back the other time? So wouldn't there be like three... Yes. Would there be 3 Tim Allens and 2 Martin Shorts?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess.
But they figured that would be too annoying, and so mercifully they cut it. I mean, it really is like the Back to the Future 2. Like, it's like, the North Pole becomes Biff's Pleasure Dome, and...
Pretty much.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
So... Then everything goes back to normal. No time has passed. So it's basically a 20-minute interlude in the movie where it's like, Well, that was a fun diversion. Like, none of that fucking mattered. Like, let's
and
move
Elizabeth
on.
Mitchell's character's like, we've been looking all over for you. And he's like, oh, here I am. And she's like, oh, well, you've only been gone for like 2 minutes. And he's like, right, 2 minutes.
Yeah. So the solution is basically he decides to let Alan Arkin and Anne Margaret in on the secret of Santa, and then everyone's happy.
Yep.
And then Jack Frost still comes back, brought in by the Elficers, like I said. And Lucy gives him a hug. And
because don't forget, Lucy has the world's warmest hugs.
That's right.
John Lasseter.
I forgot she gets this fucking creepy and also dumb snow globe from Santa that is like... I don't know. I would be creeped out if he was like, "Here's a snow globe with a little version of you that moves."
Yeah, it's like, here's a snow globe, and you see it, and it's just like a real life version of her inside of it. And she's like, "It's me in the snow globe,"
like
and it's like, "Oh, I've fucking seen this movie."
Yeah, it's not a cartoon version of her. It's her in the snow globe. She hugs a snowman, and it turns pink. Like
it's her blood running into the
That's
snow.
not how heat works. Like,
yeah, it's not like it turns like a warm looking color. It turns neon pink. Okay?
Yeah.
Anyways, she hugs Martin Short, and then he turns into like some,
other Jack Frost.
He looks like
a Mormon.
Yeah, he looks like a preacher. Or
she
something.
unfreezes his frozen heart.
Yeah,
and then
and
because he gets unfrozen, the parents automatically get unfrozen.
Yeah,
but I'm like, why didn't she just hug them?
Right after he gets unfrozen, they start playing the Hallelujah chorus, like Hallelujah. I was like, why?
He became Jesus.
I mean, the way he's dressed, he's wearing like he's got a white suit and his hair is like normal brown, but he looks like some sort of weird like televangelist dude.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's not clear what his role is going to be from here on out.
Yeah. Super
yet
weird.
He's there. And so, because at this point they're super behind on Christmas because Jack messed everything up, so Charlie shows up again with
his
council
amazing
of
engineering
legendary
skills.
Creatures. They make all the toys, and everything turns out fine.
Yeah, Alan Arkin tries to hit on Mother Nature during
Yeah.
the group hug.
Yeah.
And then then Elizabeth Mitchell's character Carol is like
Julia
is like, well, I think it's time to deliver the package. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to get everything ready for Christmas. Yeah. No, the package. He's like, oh, no, yeah, I know the package. And she's like, no, it's not a false alarm. It's the package.
She's like,
and
the human life that's growing inside of me.
Yeah, and then Santa's like, it's time to deliver the package! Just like that.
By the way, the plan that they have
He delivers.
for getting her to the tiny
He delivers! What do they always say about Mrs. Claus?
She delivers
babies. So the doctor is like this redheaded ginger kid who was a recurring character on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and his office is like a tiny room for elves, so she doesn't even really fit in it. And like during her whole 9-month pregnancy, they never thought like, let's construct a better birthing room.
That actually becomes a plot point because Jack Frost shows the delivery room, and then Alan Arkin's like a construction guy, and he's like, "This is gonna be delivery room." So I thought that like when they went there,
gonna make a better one.
Yeah, like they set it up so it's like, oh, like he's gonna make a beautiful human-sized delivery room, and it's just like, nope, like that was just a worthless
and it was
scene.
inexplicably fixed when they got back there after he like made it crash. Okay.
So then the baby smirks and we're on a freeze frame.
Yeah.
Same Buddy Claus.
Buddy Claus. And then we get a bloopers reel that just seems tailor-made to be character assassination of Tim Allen.
Yeah, I did not have the bloopers reel.
Because there's
what?
I watched this on Freeform's streaming platforms.
No.
Okay, so this blooper reel
it was edited for size and to run in the time allotted.
There's blooper reels of here's what happens in this blooper reel of Tim Allen flubbing a line where then you can hear the director audibly just yell at him.
Yeah, he goes, Tim, stop it.
No, he's trying to get invoke or evoke, and then he fucks it up, and he's like, invoke! And he's like, Jesus, okay. And then Tim Allen starts a scene at the door where he's supposed to be concerned that, like, this is part of, like, the Frank Capra, like, he realizes his whole world's shattered, and he's just like, oh, Jack Frost, he fucked everything up, and Wendy Carlson, that's Wendy Carlson, right?
Wendy Crewson.
Wendy Crewson. Laughs in his face when he's trying to do the scene, and he goes, I'm sorry, do you find something funny about my acting?
Yeah.
And I think that, like, this whole blooper reel is cut to just make it look like Tim Allen's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it seems like the filmmakers being like, no, like we have to show
We
this
didn't
shit.
talk about the filmmakers that much in this entire franchise. I just didn't really have much to say.
It's the
about
same
it.
director from the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone's
And
curious.
he also directed The Tooth Fairy with The Rock.
Oh.
He's got like a
So
weird
is this part of the
fascination
same
with
universe?
legendary-
I think it might be.
The
The
funny-
Rock killed
Art LaFleur. I want to see that scene.
Yeah. The funniest blooper I thought out of all of them was the scene where Jack Frost convinces Santa to say, I don't want to be Santa ever or whatever.
Yeah.
And like when the transition back to the past happens, he latches onto his back. And then in the movie they scream like, "Oh!" But there's effects happening. In the bloopers, there's just the scene of the camera like pulling out and them going, "Ah!"
And they're just
And then they
screaming there.
stop, and then they go, "Ah!" Like even more.
There's a lot of like kind of strangely unnecessary CGI in this movie too.
Yeah.
Like there's a point where he like brings out a baby mobile for Juliet and it's like all CGI'd for no reason.
Oh,
They
yeah.
could have just used a real baby mobile.
And that
like,
there's that creepy fireplace that looks like Santa's face.
oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god.
And when he comes out of it, it goes,
It's like
horrifying.
something out of Dune.
It actually
It's-
makes that noise.
it
like-
does.
Can't
It's
even
like,
tell you. It looks like the Cave of Wonders.
Oh, you'll
from
see it.
Aladdin.
I definitely took photos of that.
And we get CG reindeer, but
Yeah.
also like somehow regressive looking animatronic
Yeah,
reindeer.
the animatronics just got worse and worse
Yeah.
every film.
And the
I think-
reindeer
I think it's
fart
this- I
for
think
like
it's
5 minutes.
and we never find out what happened to Chet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chet died.
yeah. They still
Shot
died.
him.
Chet
Percy
and
killed.
Bernard went out into the
still-
tundra
yeah.
and they just never came back.
He rode Chet off into the sunset.
I like to think that they're out there somewhere,
Yeah, someday.
but they're probably dead. So overall thoughts on the Santa Claus franchise? That's where we're at. That's
There's another
the,
horrible song in the credits too. That like, I'm the real Santa. I'm the real Santa.
Is it also Brian Simpson?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Because you're saying it in the exact same
I mean,
notes.
that's what it sounds like.
yeah.
It was terrible.
I don't know. I'm not sure which one was worse, this or the second one. Like, I honestly
This
don't
is the
know.
worst.
How many
know. I-
snow globes out of 10 would you give this?
What did I say last time? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not you.
I'll give it 5. I have no idea. Don't hold me accountable to what I said.
3
about 2.
I'm gonna give it.
corpse-filled snow globes.
I thought you were gonna be like shit filled. I'm gonna give it 2 snow globes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
pretty
I
bad.
think I actually do. Hot take. I like this film more than the second one. I really, really hated that fake toy Santa storyline.
No, I thought he was
really
funny.
hated it. At least in this one, like
So much
At least in this one, Martin Short sings a musical
I
number.
don't know, I'm not sure either, but I guess I just liked it because it had more things for like Juliet to do, even though she was just like complaining and being like a pregnant nagging
Yeah,
wife. Like
I-
I think her storyline made more sense than a lot of the storylines we've
What was
seen.
her storyline?
That she missed her parents and that it was like
I'm
bullshit.
pretty
trying to
sure
keep it
she-
secret.
But then that gets resolved and like
You say that she gets more to do, but I'm pretty sure she's in this movie way less than the last
yeah.
movie.
She's in the movie.
I can almost guarantee.
I guarantee. Like it seemed like that she shot for maybe 5 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie just annoyed me.
There's
slightly
a whole
less.
thing about her just being like obsessed about the tree topper thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. They both suck. I can't decide.
Yeah, fuck those
Yeah,
movies. Yeah, we convinced her.
I can't even decide.
Eliz
honestly.
hates them.
The first one is the best one.
Yeah. So what would you? What are the rankings for y'all?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's a pretty downhill slope for me too. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first one's the best one, and then I can't really decide which one.
And
I dislike
We're
more.
still hunting for that elusive franchise where you know.
where it has negative splits and it gets better. As it
Yeah,
goes.
3
Yeah.
is better than 2, or 4 is better than 1, or
Yeah.
something crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know anything would be better than the first. Well, you never know.
Some of them.
We'll find out in this crazy journey
Thor.
we call sequel rights.
I enjoy Aliens more than Alien.
Oh, come on.
Interesting.
No way.
All right, we're talking about the Santa Claus
Yeah,
here.
fine.
Slight offshoot. I did get to go to this pretty cool event at the Disney Studios through D23, the official Disney fan club.
Nice.
It was called Light Up the Season, and they had a bunch of stuff on the studio lot, basically just like Christmassy stuff. But one thing they did have was a exhibit from the Walt Disney Archives of Christmas stuff, and I waited in line for like 45 minutes for this thing. Dang. And I'm getting to the front, and I'm like, please just have one thing from the Santa Claus franchise, and I will be so happy because I can share it like on Sequel Rights social media. And so we get to the front door, and there's like this pole of ornaments, and there's a little card on it that says like, "Pole from the Santa Claus 2." And I was like, oh my gosh, this is from Santa Claus 2. I got so excited. Like, I made my friend Leslie take a picture of me with it. I was like, there's this thing with the Santa Claus. And we go inside, and there is Tim Allen's full costume, Judy's full costume, Bernard's full costume, the Elf's jetpack,
I like the Elf's jetpack.
The Naughty and Nice list, a mailbox from the first one, that motorized scooter that he makes in this movie, the tree topper,
That scene's
the
so stupid.
special cocoa dish and thing, and one of the toy Santas in a box, and a list of like a document showing the different stages of ElfCon. And so I was like losing my mind, and the people around me in the exhibit were like, damn, this girl must really like the Santa Claus, because I was like, oh my gosh, we did all of this! This is gonna be so perfect for Sequel Rights! So I
They probably thought
like
you were freaking weird.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Did they have Tim Allen's shame on display there? We extracted this halfway through Santa Claus 3. It's in a jar now.
Yeah, you can look for it. But yeah, one thing that I didn't notice is that Judy has a really high slit in her dress. I can't remember, was she like wearing leggings or something underneath? I mean,
we were talking about how creepy that scene was.
The
So.
mannequin had a huge slit, like an Angelina Jolie level slit.
Well, she was seeing somebody.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways,
I did not.
So check out.
I wasn't looking at
I
her
took
dress.
pictures. You can check them out on our socials,
Instagram.
Yeah,
And that's gonna wrap up 2017 for us. Yes.
Yeah. We're getting to the end of December here and getting into the holidays, so we're gonna be jet setting off to the North Pole ourselves.
Right. Right.
So we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. I think we're tentatively scheduled to be back the second week of January with a new episode. We don't have the franchise decided quite yet, but as soon as we do, we will let you guys know. But in the meantime, we're hoping to maybe have a couple bonus episodes for you guys to check out
bonus
over the holidays. Some fun stuff for you. So keep on the lookout for that. And
maybe some bloopers where we just make Justin feel like shit the way they did to Tim Allen.
Yeah. We all know that would be me.
Justin, it's sequel rights, not trilogy rights. Sequel rights. Say the right word, sequel rights.
Trilogy!
I keep trying to say trilogy. No, that's not a thing.
Quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy rights. But yeah, we hope you guys are, enjoying the holiday yourselves while you enjoy a couple bonus episodes from us, and we'll be back in 2018. And, I meant to say, watch these movies on Netflix. They're on Netflix right now.
Have some cocoa.
All of them are on Netflix. People tweeting about Santa Claus like crazy.
And I'm sure they're showing on Freeform like every 15 minutes or
There's
something, too.
insane people on Twitter that are saying, A, Santa Claus 2 is their favorite. B, Santa Claus 3 is their favorite. I don't know who these people are, but they exist.
They exist. Just like Santa exists. Get out there. If you murder him, you can be him.
That's right. So while we're on a break, how can they reach out to us, Eliz?
You can email us, sequelrights@gmail.com, with all of your questions and suggestions for the future. And then you can get at us on Twitter and Instagram at sequelrights.
Get at us.
And then facebook.com/sequelrights.
And you guys, I have a really heartfelt and meaningful
has a Christmas wish. Here it is.
My Christmas wish, all we want here at the podcast is for you, is your 5-star rating.
Or for Hanukkah.
Just take 2 seconds to give us a rating. If you want to take 4 seconds and give us a review, that's even better.
That would be amazing. We would really, really appreciate it.
Love you forever. Not that we don't already.
We already do.
You should probably ask Santa for those reviews, except since it's not a vintage board game, he has no way to bring it to you.
That's true. He's going to bring you a handwritten letter from Connecticut or something.
Here's someone with a compliment on a ham radio.
I brought you some fan mail. Oh, God. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of the 2017. A couple weeks left here. And we'll see you in the new year with a new franchise, brand new episodes, 2018.
Here we come.
Well, Santa's got a hot rod. 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 It's the only way he can rock and roll that old Christmas sleigh. Now, no offense to Rudolph, Donner Blitzen, and all the rest of those reindeer cats. But there ain't no way that reindeer can pass no driver test. I do believe that Santa's sleigh got a big black Chevrolet if he's gonna make it around the world on Christmas Day. Santa's got a hot rod. 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 It's the only way he can rock and roll that old Christmas sleigh. Forget Australia too. He's got a drop off in Hawaii, gonna sail the ocean blue. Gonna stop in California for a cocktail and some gas. By the time he gets to England, he's got no more time to last. Santa's got